Hello and welcome back to another game of CSGO. This one is for the South American Open qualifier for the FACEIT Major coming up later this year. It's between Furia and Isurus Gaming. Isurus starting off on the CTs. Furia, on the T side there, are opting to go for a fast approach onto A, with many of their players actually already out to the site. What we are seeing though is Isurus happy to allow them to at least take some ground, because they might want to go for the retake. It has slowly started to get worse and worse for Furia though, as they have lost 2 players already. Unless 62 can be killed quickly, it will be uneven. He is going in first though with only 2 health. We'll have to see how he goes here. RVS getting the first kill on Qualifier. It is now down to the last 2 T defenders, Art and Isurus. Has quickly evened up. However, that said, I think we're going to see this bomb actually being stuck here. Will he get him in time? He does not. And the first round goes to Isurus Gaming. It's quite close though. As you can see, he did cop a hit from that knife. Just wasn't enough to stop the defuse though. And of course, once he opted out, he was able to score the kill as well. Extra money in the bank, which they will be happy about going into this next round, which they have opted to go for a few rifles here. Bit of an interesting one. Lots of grenades on the T side. I guess they are looking to try and punish anyone in that window there. Not getting quite the damage, or quite the level of damage that they were hoping for. And with a lot of terrorists here in mid, that clearly was the plan. Get that first opening kill into mid and see what they can do from there. They are slowly being picked apart by the counter-terrorists though, with only Koveni left here. He is able to get 1 kill with a burst fire. That's one of the few burst fire kills from a Glock I've actually seen in this game. That said, with a bomb plant first round and a minor investment in the second round, we can see that Furia are able to buy up this third round. Qualifier hanging out in spawn for a little bit longer for reasons. 1962. Looking to get a more advanced position on short here. They might anticipate it though, as they are pre-firing through that. RVS just trying to keep an eye on apartments to see if he can spot anyone. Bomb is sitting in mid though, which may hint a split towards B. RVS putting a bit of a stop to that for the meantime though. That molly will hold them back for just a little bit. 1962, not keeping a consistent eye on mid, but hopefully in a good enough position to provide information. The T's readjusting their approach to this, are looking to see what they can get away with in mid. A deep grenade there goes right over Nox's head, and yep, Qualifier of course just spots him there, but neither is willing to sort of push that one too hard. Is a kill and trade-off in jungle. And Koveni not seeing too in there. I think they have spotted, well they have now spotted Qualifier coming in behind. Jungle will be smoked off and that will secure a plant. It is a 2 versus 2, 2 rifles versus a rifle and SMG. However, the counter-terrorists still have some utility and now they've basically made it a 1 versus 2 here. Isurus basically in a bit of a tough position here with that flash and grenade. They can do a lot of damage to him. He does have a molly though, so if he does time this right, he may be able to stop them from being able to defuse this. They need to be able to make sure that he is not able to throw this molly down too soon. He gets 1 kill. If he throws the molly down now, instead of trying to get the fight, which admittedly he does win of course, but that was a bit riskier than it had to be. Well played by him though, and that will basically give Furia an earlier advantage here. As you can see, the counter-terrorist economy was not able to suffer that defeat for that round. With a force-up buy though, and an odd mix of weapons there, you'll see 1 rifle, 1 SMG, 2 CZs, and a Desert Eagle. The Desert Eagle seems to have been a solid choice though, as Yuri goes down to Nox. Now that the round has played out a little bit, They are looking to try and put some more people back on B. However, it seems like it might have been a little bit too little too late. At this point, it may have been a better idea just to save the armor and utility going into the next round. However, with only a couple kills onto the terrorist side there, they might have been able to do a little bit of damage to the economy, but T-side economy can weather this a little bit better than the CT economy can, of course. And it seems like at this stage, he is taking that advanced position, hoping to get an exit. Instead, he will receive a bullet to the face. Now, knowing that the counter-terrorists had to force up themselves there, the two players who did die, even if their money is a little bit low, they don't necessarily have to force up too much themselves. In fact, you can see Koveni here actually opting to go for the Mach 10, looking to actually make back some of that money that was lost in that previous round. Nox not able to get that same Desert Eagle kill in mid that he was able to get in the previous round. And slowly but surely we should see the counter-terrorist defense be picked apart here. I don't think I've spotted... Oh, yes, they have now. Tidden has been able to get one kill and was not able to duck into the palace before they spotted him and killed him. That could have been quite good for the counter-terrorists, being able to get that rifle and build up a little bit of bank there. Not going to happen. Terrorists still looking to build up some of their money. As you can see, they've decided to hang on to that Mach 10, and in the case of Gaspaka, actually going for that Galil, even though he has about 7 grand. This may end up favoring them in the long run, though. We are seeing the bomb move out onto B. Nox getting a kill in middle there. Does make it a 4 versus 5. With a good defense against the counter-terrorist approach here, like that, in mid, they can quickly even it out there. It's a 3 versus 4. Now that the bomb's been planted, though, that T numbers advantage that they normally get is thrown out the window there, and it's down to 2 defenders, Koveni and Gaspaka here. Koveni able to score 1 kill. He's weak though, and they will be able to answer that pretty quickly. Gaspaka though has basically turned this into a 1 versus 1, but Tutin's gonna stick it, and he gets the victory. He dies after it, but that is barely a silver lining for the terrorist team here. As the old adage goes, pros don't fake. Unfortunately for Gaspaka there, he thought he was faking. Or he didn't hear it, but I find that pretty unlikely. Caserado copying a bit of damage just to get that advanced position, which does work out for him. He's able to get 2 kills here. And this might open up the A-bomb side for the terrorists. And another solid kill. 4 solid kills from the terrorists. Basically serves as a slap in the face of Isurus Gaming. RVS1 is pretty much in a position where it's not even worth challenging this. He has an UMP45. Not even worth it for the weapon, really. I mean, if he does get a kill, absolutely. But at this stage, it's just a matter of holding on to what they've got. And the counter-terrorist economy has been absolutely destroyed. This has to be a full eco next round. I mean, by the round after, they should... actually, they might want to force it. They could force it. And hope for that, basically plan on losing and then get that full loss bonus after that. At this stage, though, I don't know really what they're wanting to achieve with an action like that, though. As the terrorist economy is not really going to be that bad. Now they know where he is, they might be able to swoop in on him. In fact, you can see him coming in from all angles. If it wasn't Gaspaka, it was pretty much going to be his colleague there jumping down the stairs. And as suspected, they're going for a force-up. Okay, yeah. 4 CZs. Sorry, 5 CZs. Armor, and a little bit of utility. In an earlier version of the game, this wouldn't have been so bad. This day and age, this could be an absolute nightmare. Not that Nabuleso is going to be the one to deliver that nightmare, as he does go down in A main. Nox, however, able to sneak up a little bit, does a lot of damage. If his teammate wants to push it, which he doesn't, that could have been a kill. Unfortunately, through the actions of the counter-terrorists just picking the wrong fights, a lot of them long-range ones like that, they've not been able to deal nearly the amount of damage they wanted to. And as you can see, the terrorist side economy is absolutely golden now. Furia must be very happy with themselves. On the other side of the equation though, Isurus Gaming, not so happy. They've opted to go for an almost complete save, the only exception being Noxy with a flash. And we're seeing a 4-man stack into mid here, trying to get something. Archers though, looking to fall back. Doesn't actually score a kill, only a little bit of damage onto Nabulazo there, relatively little. All things considered, Nox able to even score a kill on the A side. And I think this is pretty much the point where a lot of this approach, or this economy rush that they've been able to pull off here should go to sleep, and they'll get picked apart as they try to go in. They've got nothing to really work with here. RVS does have the AK though, that's the only thing they have. And with a boost from CT, from Ticket here, they might have actually been able to get a kill, but they're not able to see anything, and that is not so fun. First player does go down. RVS, unfortunately without the AK, or with the AK but without armor, gets aim punched and is not able to at least get something done there. Middly though, that kill onto mid was pretty good, but you can see even with that, they have not been able to field a strong buy here. They've gone for a smart buy. If you have to pick between the helmet and utilities, they've gone for the utilities, and that's purely because at this stage the AK will pretty much be an instant headshot, regardless whether you have armor or not. 3 terrorists into mid though, they have pretty much gained control of the mid space pretty early. Nox able to get a spray through that smoke. 1962 trying to get a trade through the fire and flames, but is not able to pull it off. RVS1 does get a kill onto Cavani, and what we're seeing here is actually a bit of a falling back from the T apartments. They're relying on information from Art, I believe, here, just to say that the A side is a lot more open. It's a smart move. Nabulaso, of course, hearing the footsteps from Art and the gunshot. Seems like they have pretty much called in that it is going to be an A plant, and of course the sound of the bomb being planted would also tip that off as well. RVS1 here, 1 versus 3 on a retake on A site for what appears to be a pretty, yeah, that's a very openly planted bomb. I don't think he's going to be able to pull this off. Might be able to get a exit frag, but Gispaka has a different take on that, and will finish him off with the AWP. Furia, it is safe to say, has won this half. Cavani going for the SG, going for the COD weapon there, which, to be honest, doesn't deserve quite the bad rap that it gets. It's got some of the best, in fact, I think between it and the AUG, no, yes, the SG does actually have the best hip-fire accuracy in the game, as far as the rifles are concerned. Yuri just timing the jump from the from short into window there a little bit late. Will cop a bit of fire damage. However, his teammates are pretty much cleaning house elsewhere. Although we're going to expect a huge amount from this. That said, RVS does get more than should be expected with a completely unarmored player with a USP. Now that he's got his prize, he will guard it jealously. Not sure where the other players are though. The flash will tip him off to players being in A site. Bomb itself hasn't actually been planted yet. Not that the T's need to worry about that too much. RVS anticipating another push through that smoke there, or just somebody hiding in it. Correctly anticipating that and getting a kill for his troubles. However, now that they know where he is, this is going to be a bit of a problem. There's only really one approach that he can take with the amount of time that he has. And that Molotov really should just seal the deal there. RVS should be looking to save. If not, he will go down to Gaspaka. (8-3). We're seeing this now. I think it's safe to say that Furia has indeed won this half. And unless the counter-terrorists here can really do much to slow down their advance, I think we're going to see a pretty one-sided game. So they are swapping it out a little bit, and they are rewarded for it. RVS scoring a kill in middle against Yuri. These are the kind of changes that we would really need to see from the counter-terrorist side to make sure that they can actually hold the sites. Double AWP does indeed help as well. That adds a lot of firepower. You usually see a lot of teams that will actually go for the double AWP setup later in the game, and it's more an act of, if we can't outthink their attack, we'll pretty much just beat them on the firepower front. It seems to have worked quite well for them that round at least. Can be said though, with at least 3 players at the start of that round being over $10,000, that Furia have a lot of breathing room to see what they want to do about that. They are still conceding a lot of ground in mid. That might not be exactly what they want. Gaspaka, going for an excellent position on mid there, is able to take out RVS1, and with a boost coming in the window, which has been thwarted, but has resulted in some damage. Nebulosa taking a little bit of a hit there. Archaz, though, going through mid, has pretty much been able to sneak into the defenses and cause a little bit of pain here. Nebulosa is pretty much in a tight spot. He doesn't know whether they're coming from window or not, and he will opt to creep through the smoke here, perhaps even just hide in it. And the creep was not good enough. He does take a bullet to the face. Archaz anticipating that quite nicely. Tudin's job here is basically to stay alive. A job he has not successfully done. This is a timeout that could have potentially happened sooner here. Isurus having to figure out exactly what they want to do to stop this T-sided onslaught. I have to hand it to Furia, though. When met with the double AWP situation, they didn't expect it coming with the round that they lost, of course, but as soon as they saw that's what the CTs were doing, they had brilliant answers for it, and they were able to shut it down completely. It's very frustrating if you're Isurus Gaming. That was pretty much going to be your fallback and your sort of your space to say, okay, we know that we can hold them off at least if we do this. We just have to work to those strengths. Furia take those strengths away. That's pretty much why we're seeing this timeout here. It's either going to be a mental reset, or they're going to be looking at their tactics and saying, what can we actually do to stop this? What can we do to get these last 2 rounds of this half? And we'll see that now. And with a mixed buy here, 2 pistols, 3 rifles, see more of a focus being put on, well, B, and yeah, short has 2 players. The 2-man stack onto short, though, has not quite worked out. The rifle has been retrieved, but with Yuri so far up there in short, he was in a position to really just lay some pain down. It's not going to happen, though. And as Archaz decides to lurk a little bit more into A, and almost whiffing that shot, he has been able to provide a bit of reassurances on the A site, and you can see the T's actually gravitating towards that now. Tudor, though, may not be expecting Koveni coming up behind him. Thinks about it at the last second, just a little bit too late though. Nox has to look at whether he wants to take a 1 versus 4 retake, and almost gets the double kill there. Koveni, though, just able to secure it at the end. We're pretty much in the last half here. Counter-terrorists, barely any economy. They've got to buy whatever the hell they can, but I don't think they're going to be able to get too much going here. They can't do it with rifles and a full buy. Don't think they're going to do it with pistols either, especially the kind of fights they've been taking with the pistols. A admittedly kind of bad smoke there. I mean, it does give them a bit of a window, but surely they'll have to be anticipating this. Yuri, though, does he suspect it? He doesn't. And that smoke actually works out for them. We are seeing trades here. A 4 versus 3. Now, until the terrorists actually pick a bomb site that they want to go for, this isn't the worst thing in the world. Counter-terrorist defenses always have to be split up between those sites, or they have to gamble on a site. Now, they've decided to go for the former, with only 2 counter-terrorists sitting on this site. If they can get those angles right, though, this could be devastating. I don't think Caserado anticipated that Tudun would be on rafters there, and he does go down, but he makes it a 2 versus 1 here, so this is actually very durable for Isurus Gaming. RVS1 managing to score that kill, that's very close, doesn't matter of milliseconds, so this is a 5 to 10 half. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's not going to be fun town for Isurus Gaming, but this is doable. And that's pretty much all they needed. Knowing that they can get that last round with an eco, that's got to be a confidence boost, which is pretty much what they need right now. If they can get this pistol round as well, that's going to be brilliant for them. That's going to be perfect. If they don't get it, then the already uphill battle becomes pretty much Sisyphean. Things have quietened down though. Terrorists waiting for the counter-terrorists to actually make a move here, which isn't going to happen yet. Furia being very patient with their CT side. Now, they haven't gone for any mid-control. They're not really seeming to be interested in that information, with the exception of Yuri. also does get 1 kill from mid, and that could potentially cause a bit of anxiety for the counter-terrorists, and we are off. They have committed to the A side there. We're going to see what they're going to be able to do. RVS able to kill Yuri there, and we're down to 2 remaining counter-terrorist defenders. 1 remaining now. It's a 1 versus 3 retake situation. Will they plant this A side? They will. They have the time to move, but they've got all their players here. They did not want to risk running into 2 well-placed USB shots there and pretty much turning it on one-on-one. Now they know where he is, though. They pretty much just have to play their time. They play this smart, only peek when they think that he's going to be making a move or when he has to, and this round is theirs. There's a lot of footsteps moving around. I mean, Spiker does not have the luxury of time, so he can't really creep around. He's forced to make a move, and it does not work out for him. And we are seeing a pretty heavy buy from the terrorists here going into the second round there. That's 2 AKs. Now, depending on how the counter-terrorists want to force up this round, this could be a particularly bad setback for Isurus Gaming. Purely for the fact that if they lose these guns now, they have nothing to work with. They're reset, and reset bad. You see, a fair few teams will want to go for SMGs in the second round. And that's mostly for the fact that if you're not going to be taking those long-range battles, and even in some cases when you are, maybe you don't want to, maybe you don't want to throw 3 AKs at it, then you get those SMGs, you build up the economy just by getting those easier kills there. And we're seeing 4 AKs and 1 MAC-10. I don't agree with it, and it gives me anxiety just looking at it. But if it works for them, it works. This might be relating to a specific plan that they have on the T side. Anyway, as the timeout expires and we're heading back into the round, we will see the second round on the second half. Counter-terrorist opting for a Scout, 3 CZs, and a Desert Eagle. Yuri able to score that first kill there. That's 1 AK already out of the mix. Abloso might be wanting to go and pick up that AK instead. At least save some of the money, make sure it comes through with a double peek onto connector, though Yuri's going to be calling that they're going to come out of that way. He's not able to get the same kills as before. With the added utility on the terrace side there, they're able to pretty much cover their approach into the site. And slowly and surely, the Isurus Gaming attack here is pretty much being destroyed. It's being dismantled. RVS1, though, knowing that there is a player in ticket booth, they will take him out. And it's 2 versus 2. Now, with the extra time, the counter-terrorists might just want to focus on getting weapons. It's going to be their main chance of evening this out. And I think they've actually heard Case Serato move into this position on window here. So they're looking right at him. And they're able to get some damage onto him. That said, though, he is not without an answer and drops RVS1 down to 20 health. We will see a plant onto the B site here. Not wanting to expose himself any more than he absolutely has to. RVS just goes straight for the market plant. Goes behind the bench. He does spot both players there. Navaloso is pretty much going to have to step up here. He's also taking damage, though. And this approach from Furia is actually pretty impressive. They've basically made this a 1 versus 2. They don't have any utility, but they have a smoke, and that's going to make him basically give up his position here as he tries to spam through it. If he sticks it, he might actually get this. No, surely not. Oh my god. Oh, that was close. That was dangerously close. I don't know what I would have done if I was on Isurus Gaming and that had happened. I would have felt absolutely defeated. Now they're going for a bit more of a reasonable buy this time. They're just going for the 2 MAC-10s and 3 AKs. And the counter-terrorists themselves have gone for P250s, 3 P250s, and a, well, there we go. Nabalaso getting the first kill onto a ramp. Okay, Serato still getting a kill with that USP. He's been able to do some serious damage with that. More than you'd think would be possible. Not it's going to matter too much, though, as they will secure the A site, and the last 2 counter-terrorists will go down. At this stage, looking at the money on both sides here, we should be seeing our first real rifle round of the second half. Now, considering this, Furia will basically be wanting to stop the, well, of course they'll be wanting to stop Isurus Gaming, but this is going to be their first real chance to do it. Now, like with Isurus Gaming on the counter-terrorists in the first half, they've opted to forego the helmets. Yet again, an AK to the dome will pretty much kill you regardless of whether you've got a helmet on or not. So that is some extra money that can be used on the utility that we see there. 3 smokes and a defuse kit. It's not a lot, but it can be enough if used correctly. RVS1 looking to get some ground there. Now that they can see that there is an AWP on the B site, they're going to be a little bit more careful about this. Case Serato does actually cop a fair amount of damage from a Molotov. Things are remaining pretty quiet on the A site there. 2 defenders haven't really seen too much. They are hanging back a little bit. We are going to be seeing a bit of real estate being purchased on mid here by Tudin. Only 40 seconds left. That's going to be an interesting spot. I believe he's sitting there because he will want to take out any potential players rotating. Gisparko getting an excellent first kill there. Terrorists have to push through this. There's not really much they can do. Gasparka getting 3 kills. That is devastating. Tudun not going to be getting what he needs from middle, and that was brutal. Gasparka having an excellent play on B there. Basically jellyfishes his way from the approaching T's through the apps, fires, swims away, fires again, swims away, resulting in 3 kills as he correctly anticipates each time which angle they're going to be at, or they're going to be coming from. That was just a little bit beautiful to watch. As for Isurus though, it's going to be a little bit painful for them, as they're down to 1 Glock, 4 CZs, and a few flashes. This is not the kind of buy that you go into a round expecting to win with. And there's a lot of damage being done by the combination of that grenade and Molotov, and it is pretty much down to 1 player now. Drops into underpass there. He has no expectations of being able to win this round. He might have wanted to do some damage, but Yuri says, nah mate, nah. And with this, Furia pretty much setting the terrorists back down to, well, they've got a bit of a buy, but they are not in Greenville. They do not have the cashola to do too much with this. Seeing another timeout from them. This is their 3rd. And if you take a look at the rounds that they have won, counter-terrorist economy is looking a lot stronger at the moment, purely for the fact that they've won these last 2 rounds, but they've done it convincingly as well. Terrorists, well, the last round they won was a little bit convincing, but their money has pretty much been destroyed here. At this stage, with this timeout, I'm not entirely certain what they're looking to do with it. I mean, it's good to get that mental space there, but a lot of what they're trying, they're just seeing get answered by Furia time and time again. The terrorists have opted to go for the helmets, and it makes a bit more sense for them purely for the fact that an M4 will kill you without a helmet straight away, but with a helmet, that's 2 shots, especially at range. It's nothing worse than that feeling of having a buy on the terrorist side and losing your weapons because you did not opt to go for a helmet when you could have. And things are settling into a bit of a default here on both sides, with the exception of Nox, who is trying to push up short there, using the smoke as cover. We've got a bit of ground here. As that fades away though, he's going to want to make sure that he's not completely exposed. Don't know if he's actually been spotted though. When he goes for that jump though, they will hear him. Just like he's heard Yuri go through there. He doesn't know which way he's gone through there, whether he's coming or going. So that could be a little bit nerve-wracking for him. Needs to be aware of it. And with a lot of utility being placed onto mid there, they're expecting it to be an A pull there. Qualifier waiting perfectly for Nox to jump into the window there, and he will be killed as a result. Putin's been locked out of Palace from that approach, but his teammates will move up and clear out the side for him. It's now down to Gasparka. He can really only hope to get maybe 1 or 2 kills here. But considering they've planted before that gap, they really shouldn't have much of a reason to actually risk getting shot there. Knowing that he's still alive and he's been the one with the AWP, they know that these angles are going to be pretty deadly and they'll want to stay out of them. Considering their own money situation though, they don't have too much of a reason to go hunting at the moment. It only really weakens them in the long run. And looking at the counter-terrorist money, even if they did kill him this time, he's going to be taking it into the next round. I mean, looking at it from the long game perspective, you might want to whittle down your enemy's economy, but in this case, it's not worth it compared to preserving your own economy. And with that, Isurus will be able to score a round back. Now for them, it's quite important that Furia doesn't get that momentum, especially not the kind of momentum that we saw in that first half. As you can see, it was pretty deadly. Cavani going back for the COD weapon. As for the terrorists, though, they're not really looking to contest mid at all. All they really want is just to keep Noxy there to make sure that they don't push it themselves. And with that, they will be looking to see exactly what the counter-terrorists want to do, whether they will want to make any risky moves, given the extra confidence they might have received from that last round. Now, this can be a smart move. If you're on the counter-terrorist side and you're seeing that your default defense isn't working, you might want to show a bit more aggression just to rustle up any plans the terrorists might have. Isurus Gaming, in this case, anticipated that and held back. I might not be expecting Cavani to be this far ahead though, but with a couple of players in the form of 1962 and Nabalasso setting up just outside of mid on the T side. 3 players now. This could be deadly for Cavani. He needs to hop out of there. And with a fair amount of utility being spent there, it looks like it will be an A-side split. Many players working their way up short. Looking to score those kills there. Well, 1962. Try to get the spray through that. No, he won't. But Yuri's in a bad position there. Or at least he was until he jumped out of smoke and made it a good position. There's a 2 versus 3. Terrorists are in an odd position. An even worse one now, especially now that they know exactly where RVS1 is. And that is it. That'll be a reset. That's exactly what Isurus Gaming did not want to happen. They have a bit of money. Will they opt to force up, or will they look to basically wait until the next round and get a goodbye? They will force up in this case. Not the worst move, as Furia is on 13 rounds. If you're giving up this round, you might as well be giving up the whole game. Or so their thought process might be. We will see smoke come in there, as they are looking to smoke off triple and ticket, it seems, or jungle. And as the players move in, we'll see the terrorist approach there be torn to shreds. They tried to get good coverage with the smokes, it didn't work, and Yuri, perhaps hearing the jump there, decided to spray through smoke. He might have seen him. Either way, Isurus were pretty much destroyed. Forcing up again. They are pretty much relying on that loss bonus for this next round, if they lose this one, to be enough to give them something to work with. And we do see a kill with the AUG. Again, using that hipfire, accuracy is good. Admittedly, though, it was against an eco buy there against the CZ, so maybe not the best evidence to say that it's going to be worth it every time to get the Steyr or the SG. Caserado just hiding in the smoke there. Missing a bit of a game of cat and mouse. Don't know exactly which way they want to go. RVS does get the AWP though, and this could be a little bit devastating. In the right hands, this pretty much gives them entry into a site. They are moving back to A though. There's not much to say. They have a lot of information here, just what Nox has been able to determine. He doesn't have the best view on short though, or what could be hiding in window. In this case, it's good that there's nothing in there, but those are the risks you have to consider. And with the counter-terrorists moving back in there, so they have 2 players in tickets, they are pretty much wanting to try and stop this bomb plant from going down. They won't succeed. The terrorists will take a lot of damage, but they will get the bomb down. RVS able to score at least 1 kill there, score 2, and he makes it a 2 versus 3. Against Nico, though, this might not be as advantageous as you might think. They're also a bit weak too. So it's still Isurus' game to win. And when they do it, RVS getting a well-placed shot through smoke, just catching a hit of Archazor there, or just looking to take a random shot through there. And we do see the last available timeout being played by Isurus Gaming here. Now that they have weapons, they have a bit of money, they really need to think about what Furia is going to be doing. That's because each time they've been in this position, Furia has been able to basically knock them back again. Furia, on the other hand, with a 4-round lead, decide we can lose this one. We can buy a few things. They haven't opted for any armor. They're just gone for 3 CZs, P250, and a Desert Eagle. Flash and the smoke in hand. They're not really looking to stop any advances. I think they're just looking to cause as much damage as possible. Let me head into this next round here. Cavani spotted in Palace will go down. Yuri, really hungry for the kill, stays in window longer than he really should have, but that's the whole point here. You need to get those kills. Footsteps being heard just outside window. 1962 will, of course, take out K Serrato as a result of that. And we see one player remaining in the form of Gaspaki here. Now for them, and by them I mean Furia, they still maintain the advantage here. Really, you can tell by the fact that they didn't buy any armor or utility or anything like that. They had a very strong feeling, and rightly so, that they would lose this round. What they had to gain from it, though, by getting those CZs, the Desert Eagle and all that, is that if they could kill, say, 2, perhaps even 3 of Isurus's players, it dents their ego, their morale, and considering their economy, it basically puts them in a much stronger position because they know that they'll be able to buy, that Furia know that they themselves will be able to buy a lot this round. And for the first time, we're actually seeing that double AWP set up out of Furia. Now, given the round that it was able to provide Isurus Gaming in the first half, if it provides Furia with a match point here, excellent investment. That's exactly what they need. Terrorists, no presence towards B at all. We do have Nabalasso in mid, the rest hanging in Palace, and only one in A main. So we're going for a bit of an odd approach here, and that is to waterfall out of Palace with a full buy. Surely the bomb must have been spotted, so they know that they'll be looking to plant here. Not looking to contest the plants or anything like that. He will peek out. Wins the duel with Nox. Does go down to RVS1 though. And it is a 1 versus 3. They know where he is though. They've burnt him out. And that is it. That is match point for Furia. Isurus Gaming themselves taking a massive risk by waterfalling out of Palace. 3 players with rifles. That's a really bad choke point there. And they paid dearly for it. Now they have a lot of money here. Counter-terrorists don't. So they are in a position where they can actually pretty much blunt Furia for at least a few rounds, and they run a chance of getting this into overtime. That's pretty much their only hope right now, is that if they can do that, they can get back to pretty much a 11,000 versus 11,000 setup and see what they can do when they basically throw a lot of money at each other. Historically, though, we can see that working out for Furia more so than Isurus Gaming. As for this round, we are seeing the same sort of default setup that we saw in previous rounds. Noxie just keeping AI on mid there, just to make sure some CTs don't get a little bit courageous and try to sneak up through there. RVS1, 1962 there, are looking to keep an eye on underpass there and keep the casual eye on apartments when need be. With Nabalasso hanging back pretty far back from A main there. Again, they're just waiting to see what these counter-terrorists will want to do. Furia, knowing that they have the advantage though, don't necessarily want to throw any players away on some weird opportunistic stuff there. Yuri, hearing RVS1 there through the smoke, will win that duel, and the terrorists have set up for A. Starting to slowly move in. They will be torn to shreds pretty much by Yuri and Koveni there. Teuton, though, has turned this into a 2 versus 3, so this is going to be their main chance to do this. Gisparka whiffing that shot, though. That could be it. And we do see Furia round this one out, 16-11. Now, thank you for tuning in. If you've made it this far, as always, any comments or critiques are welcome. I'm doing this to learn how to cast, and if you have any games that you'd like me to check out, I will do so if possible. Just let me know in the comments below. Thank you. Bye.